In the history of the United States, it's not often that working people have descended upon the nation's capital to fight for their own class in their own name. But today we are, and you are quite a beautiful sight to see from this podium. We have come to Washington, D.C. with our boxing gloves on, because it's past time that we let our voices be heard outside and independent, not only of the Republican Party, but the Democratic Party as well. And we are here also to tell the labor officials who are more concerned with who sits in the Oval Office than they are about our needs, our rights, our agenda, that we are not taking it anymore. We are also here to say that we will not accept nor cave in to the bosses, as well as their henchmen and henchwomen, and the Democratic and Republican parties are doing it. Where I live in Seattle, Washington, Northwest workers have suffered severe losses at the hands of the Democrats. This supposedly lesser of the two evils political parties has prioritized serving the interests of the almighty Boeing Company and the Microsoft billionaire Bill Gates Jr. They have received tax cuts, subsidies, and loopholes that are bigger than any lasso that could lasso 50 elephants. In the Washington State Legislature, where the Democrats are almost equal to the Republican Party, representatives have overwhelmingly gutted unemployment, allowed contracting out of public services, and have totally ignored and refused to implement voter-passed initiatives that would have raised wages for teachers and reduced class sizes. But one of my personal pet peeves is how the Democratic Party and the good old boys in the labor movement have refused to conduct an aggressive campaign to defend, reinstate affirmative action. Democratic Party representatives were more concerned with keeping their legislative seats rather than promoting equal access to jobs for people of color and women. Affirmative action has all but disappeared from the legislative statutes throughout this country, and yet it was the law that was responsible for integrating workplaces and universities. Pioneers like myself fought hard for that, and some of us were injured, as myself. It was this kind of racist and bigoted work environment that resulted in my accident on the job in 1977, when I fell 28 feet to the ground and broke my back. But in spite of my injury, not only did I not stop fighting, but neither did my sisters and brothers of color in my local. I learned an important lesson that day. I learned how bigotry and discrimination can turn your life into your own worst enemy if you don't stand up, fight back, and demand your rights. That is why the time is now to shake the House of Labor, rock the House of Labor, no matter who becomes president, no matter who gets elected in Congress. Here in front of the Lincoln Memorial, we need to declare independence from the boss parties, the Republicans, the Democrats, and we need to decide ourselves to continue to carry on the fight inside the House of Labor. And ultimately, we have to call for socialism. I just want to close by saying, referring to the song, Solidarity Forever, which says, in our hands is placed the power greater than their hoarded gold. It's up to workers throughout this land to translate those words into action, and now is the time to start. Thank you.